Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
St. Catherine man pleads guilty to being a member of a gang. A St. Catherine man is to be sentenced next year after pleading guilty to gang-related charges in the St. Catherine Circuit Court yesterday. He is 24-year-old Lesburn Simit, unemployed of Old Harbour, St. Catherine. When Simit appeared before Justice Bertram Morrison, he pleaded guilty to being a member of a criminal gang, benefiting from a criminal gang and participating in a criminal gang. He was ordered remanded and is to be sentenced on January 11, 2023. The charges against Simit stem from an investigation in 2018 by detectives from the St. Catherine South Police Division into the activities of the Sparta gang in Old Harbour in the parish. Finance Minister assures public sector workers they will not have to return allowances paid prior to implementation of compensation review this year. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark is again assuring public sector workers that they will not have to return allowances paid prior to implementation of the compensation review this year. There has been uncertainty among public sector workers over whether or not the sums would be recovered by the government on the compensation restructuring with effect from April 1, 2022. In clarifying the situation, Dr. Clark assured that will not be the case. He explained what will happen under the new compensation restructuring system.
So in December 2022, persons will receive a paycheck that represents the new compensation system. However, we're implementing that new compensation system as at April 1st of 2022. So we're going back in time. However, persons have already been paid for April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November using the old system. We are going to top up what they have earned over that period because we're making the new system effective on April 1st. To calculate the amount of that top-up, or otherwise known as arrears, otherwise known as back pay, the best way to explain it is by way of an example. If you received $100, but under the old system, and under the new system, you should have received $130. Then for us to calculate what you should be paid now, we have to take into account the $100 that you've already received, and we would add $30, which is the difference between the 130 and the 100. So we are not recovering any allowance or any pay from anyone. What we are doing is adding to the pay that you have already received for the period April to November with an additional amount, such that when you take that amount into consideration and you add it to what you have already received, it would be equivalent to what you would have received if the new compensation system was implemented on April 1st. Now, it is the case that when you do the calculation, it may result in a negative amount to be paid, meaning it may appear as if the person owes the government of Jamaica. And in those cases, we have given an assurance that if that is what is generated, there will be a figure that would be paid over such that it would raise this amount to a level that the person would receive a minimum increase of 20% on a net basis over the implementation period.
A matter of life and death. An opposition People's National Party PNP councillor on Tuesday urged his colleagues in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation to support strong measures being implemented against crime. It is a matter of life and death, and it affects all of us. We need to take a strong stand against crime, Councillor Never Wright, Trench Touch Division, said at the final meeting of the KSAMC Council for 2022. While Jamaica Constabulary Force data seen by reporters do not break down crime in specific political constituencies and division, they show that so far this year, a total of 71 murders have been committed in the Kingston Western Police Division. For the entire year in 2021, the number was 106. On October 20 this year, a police corporal from Kingston Western Division was one of 2 men killed by a gunman in Trench Town. On Tuesday, Wright, who is also a pastor, informed the meeting that he will not be a candidate in the next local government election due by February 2022. Councillor Norman Perry, People's National Party Dwinny Park Division, also told the council that he would not be seeking re-election in the upcoming poll. He thanked Mayor Delroy Williams and the corporation's CEO, Robert Hill, for the help and interest that they, the council, had given the New Haven community in his division. Meanwhile, Councillor Lee Clark, Jamaica Labour Party, Whitehall Division, who also chairs the Building and Town Planning Committee, urged the PNP councillors to return to the committee, for which they have resigned in January. In response, Councillor Andrew Swaby, PNP Vineyard Town Division, the minority leader, said that they would consider Clark's appeal. In January, the PNP councillors resigned from the committee due to what they said was a lack of integrity, transparency and efficiency, which the current administration is operating. PM Holness pleads with private sector to contribute to social housing program. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is pleading with more members of the private sector to contribute to the social housing program. Holness made the call during a handing over ceremony for new units in Tower Hill located in his West Central St. Andrew constituency. The social housing program, which was launched in 2018, is an initiative dedicated to improving the living conditions of less fortunate Jamaicans through the use of government resources. The Prime Minister says looking out for the less fortunate should be seen by the private sector as part of their social responsibility. People recommended for former program rejected for weight and height, says councillors. Councillors in St. Anne are complaining that people they recommend for the overseas former program are being turned down because of their weight or height or even childbearing status. The matter was raised in the monthly meeting of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation recently. Some councillors say they were seeing new situations where their nominees for the program were turned down apparently because they weighed over 150 pounds or were said to be fat. It was even stated that some applicants were turned down because local officials said they did not look like farmers. Councillors for the Claremont Division, Lambert Weird, told the meeting that some applicants he recommended were told that they were too fat or they didn't look like farmers. He says the Ministry of Labour and Social Security needs to advise if the criteria have changed. Weird stated that a meeting with the Minister of Labour and Social Security was needed to clarify the situation. He also expressed that people were very upset and confused over the process. For her part, counsel for the Limehall Division, Geneva Garden Bailey, said she had long been careful not to send certain people because she recognized that individuals of certain height or age, or even people with 4 children or more, were not being accepted. Councillor Garden Bailey says even though there was no guideline but about weight, it was known that females weighing over 150 pounds were regularly rejected. Councillors usually get a request to recommend or nominate bona fide farmers for their division for the overseas programs. The criteria attached do not include weight, though the recommended age for applicants is stated as 21 to 44 years old. Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson provided update on new uniform and ballistic vests for its members.
Let me tell you what matters. Uniforms matter. Right? Uniforms matter. And it has been a challenge for us. Initially because of COVID. Post-COVID was the logistics chain. You just can't get it. The suppliers said they can't supply at the rate that we want to purchase. But also some of them actually had to shut down because they just didn't have any work during that period. And they are living really on the edge when they manufacture. And so they had to close down. Some of them have been reopened and start to manufacture. We actually have brought in they're doing some checking now. I think it's about 7,000 suits, another 4,000 of another type. We just got in 800 the bulletproof vests. We have another 1,900 coming in and so on. So the flow is starting. So I know people have been holding strain with the uniform thing. There is light at the end of the tunnel on this. Certainly by the first quarter of next year, we should be in a much different position than we are in now. So I know it has been a challenge. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate how, with all of these challenges that we have, people just continue doing the work. I have a passion for the safety and security of the communities that we serve, and also our own families in this country.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification